Honorable Speaker, we meet in the midterm of the 6th administration. The resilient and courageous people of KwaZulu-Natal are at a turning point. This is our decisive moment to turn the corner, to build on our resilience, forge lasting peace, create job opportunities, and usher in a sustainable growth. After 2.5 testing years, we found ourselves at a fork in the road. We must choose determination over hesitancy and hope over fear to steer our province to a better and a brighter future. Our province has undergone experiences we could not have imagined at the start of this term. Chief among these have been the deadly and the devastating impact of coronavirus, which has laid bare the structural challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment, which also has a race and a gender bias in the country of South Africa. COVID-19 has claimed the lives of almost 100,000 South African and worsened unemployment as a number of companies had to close down. Scientific advice is that vaccination is the best solution to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Vaccination is an individual and a collective duty in this critical time. Vaccine hesitancy has held us back from getting our life back to normal. As we rode through the unprecedented turmoil visited upon by the COVID-19, the sun set in the middle of the day when on the 12th of March 2021, news reached the nation of the passing of His Majesty, King Zwelithini after close to 50 years on the throne. May we take this opportunity to once again respect our departed King by saluting in a manner and in accordance with the tradition. I will request those of us, besilisa, basukume, sihloniphe, ungangezwi lakhe, obehlale nathi esupporter ngaso sonke isikhathi. Wena wendlovu, wena wendlovu, bayede. Thank you, honorable members. Our nation and the province were shattered. Barely a month later, we were again shaken by the passing of the regent, Queen Mantombi Dlamini Zulu. As we recall our collective grief, we console ourselves that the spirit of our king, Umdlogombane, and all departed Zulu kings and queens continues to watch us over our nation. We pray for healing, peace, and endurance, unity among our royal house and the nation. Madam Speaker, we are honored to be graced by the presence on this auspicious occasion of the members of the royal family. While we battled the effort of COVID-19, our province is yet to recover from the destruction and the deadly and the death of the July unrest. We must do more to heal our province, reconcile our communities, and get justice for the victims of the Phoenix massacre. At the same time, we must draw our collective goodwill of all the people of the province to turn the corner toward a KwaZulu-Natal that is truly united and at peace with itself. The work to heal our nation and our communities from the scars of both COVID-19 and the July unrest will intensify in this year, the year 2022. We wish to remember the over 300 members who died during the July unrest and the many thousands whose lives were cut short by COVID-19. At the same time, we wish to remember all of those who passed on during this time and in a period leading to this event. Among those is Riky, who passed on, and we remember him for his contribution in the music industry in our country. Notwithstanding our hardship, together we will prevail and advance development. As the poet W.M. Gillard captures the uncertainty that recently gripped the country when he says, as I reflect, our vision is dim, we are tired, and long for ease. We neglect our vital spark, that burning love for freedom, which once lit our blackest night, and now we fumble, confused and fearful, hearing our foundations crumble, close quote. We dare not let our foundation as KwaZulu-Natal crumble. Our task is to recover and discover our vital spike and the burning love for freedom. This is a freedom. Inkululeko yabantu basezweni lethu. Inkululeko esingayitholanga mahala, kodwa inkululeko eyalwelwa. Noma besibhekene nesikhathi esinzima, kodwa ngeke sabalisa, ngeke sabuka imumva. Okwethu namuhla ukwakha kabusha lesizwe siqhubekele phambili. Honorable members, we must approach the year ahead with renewed hope and optimism. We have together ridden the wave and the most difficult storms. Learning from our experience, we must set our compass to conquer the high seas of jobs, unemployment, and create more jobs. Ensure economic recovery, fight against crime, ensure water provision, building a capable and incorruptible government. We wish to take this opportunity and pay tribute to the people of KwaZulu-Natal, who in their numbers took their time to make contribution to the 2022 State of the Province address. Among them is Mrs. Zilungile Nguse from Umzimkhulu, who has related the challenge faced by her community in Mfulamhle. Mrs. Nguse, in response to your concern, we wish to assure you that the next Operation Sukuma Sake, which will take place in Erigwala, will among others be dedicated to address all issues of Mfulamhle. Mam Nguse, sisendleleni ukuzobheka izinkinga zamanzi nemgwaqo namathuba emsebenzi okhulume ngakho. We will meet you and the community of Mfulamhle there to tackle all of these challenges. We appreciate the contribution by Patrick Belebesi, a young person who gave us his views about youth unemployment. We trust that as you listen to this address, you will hear about the opportunities that we will present to benefit you and many other young people of our province. We are already attending to the cries of the people of Nhlazuka, where people, especially students, have to cross the river on a makeshift bridge. As mfowethu uDr. Ngcobo Fuze uzwakalisile isikhalo sakhe nesomphakathi, siyal-attenda lolu daba lwalapha eNhlazuka. I-Department yakwa-Education already isiyile khona. Ngonjalo, i-Department yakwa-Transport is attending Ndlunkulu kudaba lwe-bridge elakhiwe laphansi lakhiwa kudala la phansi uma kufika imvula zihamba ngaphezulu abantwana kube likhuni ukuthi bawele. Siwutholile umyalezo Ndlunkulu, sizokulungisa ngokusheshsha. Honorable members, siyafisa uqinisekisa ukuthi umnyango wezokuthutha usuthathe isinqumo ngaphansi ka-MEC Nkonyeni wokuthi sizowabheka wonke lama bridge ayakhiwe akhelwa phansi eminyakeni edlule ngoba impilo zabantu abamnyama kwangacatshangwa ukuthi kumele ithuthuke ngaleyo ndlela. So wonke lawo ma bridge umnyango uthatha isinqumo sokuthi uzowalungisa abe phezulu abe sesimeni songade kudluka kumbe kudlula amanzi abe maningi kube ama bridge asebenza futhi asesimeni esikahle. Madam Speaker, at the beginning of this sixth administration, after the 2019 general elections, we identified 8 priorities for our province. To remind ourselves, these are the priorities: the provision of water, of basic services, especially water, the creation of jobs, the growing the economy, growing SMMEs and cooperatives, leading education and skills development, human settlement and sustainable livelihood, building a peaceful province, build a caring and incorruptible government. There is an urgency to decisively address unemployment rate, particularly among the youth, women, and vulnerable groups. We must turn the corner to narrow the gap of race and gender-based inequality and poverty. Ours is a vision based on the aspirations of the Freedom Charter, the Reconstruction and Development Plan, the National Development Plan, which is the Vision 2030, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the AU as Africa, the AU Agenda 2063, and our own KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. Our province is unambiguous about radical economic transformation and the need to level the playing field by bringing back or bringing blacks, especially Africans, into the mainstream economy. We must therefore turn the corner to deliver basic services better and faster. Honorable members, as part of our response to COVID-19, we managed to mount a formidable and highly effective response to the pandemic. These include the reconfiguration of hospitals such as Doris Goodwin, Richmond, Claywood, Dundee, St. Francis, Bethesda, Wentworth, J.C. Crook, and other hospitals on time. We had to adopt quick and fast response to COVID-19. We repurposed and established field hospitals, the Claywood, the Royal Agricultural Show, the General Kizenga Mpanza, and Dingwelezane. We achieved this in a matter of months. We commend the department under MEC, Smelane, and the HOD and all others for this work. We will not be going back to old days of doing things, of operating in silos. Learning from the disaster of COVID-19, we will implement in a coordinated manner, avoid fragmentation and mismanagement, as well as misalignment in planning. We will accelerate the adoption of the latest technology and speed up the digitalization of services. In this regard, we call on all municipalities to complete the establishment of the DDM structures so that they will achieve one budget, one plan, which will then be informed by the support of all departments. The administration we want should be driven by high level of performance, measurable and impactful in changing the lives of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. It is against this background that our focal areas for this 2022 State of the Province address will be to fasten and prioritize key areas. And these areas are economic recovery and creation of jobs, improving access to water and sanitation, fight crime and building safer communities, social protection and human development, building a capable state, building a better Africa and a better world. The increase in discouraged work seekers continues to add to the figures on a regular basis. Our country's economic structure is the primary cause of this situation, the persistent low levels of economic productivity and a low rate that is driven by a high input cost. Our economy is sadly uncertain with corporate corruption, failure of companies to invest in self-development, lack of sustainable energy generation, instability created by criminal activities of some business forum. All this has been worsened by the lockdown intended to keep citizens safe from COVID-19. To change the status quo, we need major economic reforms anchored on radical economic transformation and greater participation of all people, in particular the blacks in general and Africans in particular, in the mainstream economy of the province. Our setback that we have experienced is the closure of the Marathon South Africa, which was launched at the Dubai Trade Port in 2019. The company had pledged to invest 1.5 billion and to create 736 jobs in KwaZulu-Natal. Marathon's production commenced in October 2019, but was disrupted in the early part of 2020 owing to COVID-19 pandemic and the hard lockdown. Consequently, the production volumes were impacted and were below target. The Industrial Development Corporation is now undertaking a study to ensure that this company is rescued, and it has already put under the rescue plan. We are disappointed by the decision of SAPREF to indefinitely suspend refinery operations in Durban by the end of March 2022. The announcement came not as long after the Engine Refinery announced a similar decision regarding their operations in Durban. We are of a view that retaining refinery, especially the operations of refineries in our province, is key for economic growth and job creation rather than solely relying on importing refined oil. For that reason, we have called on the national government to buy SAPREF, not only to protect jobs, but to build the capacity of the state. It cannot be that the country will remain dependent on foreign-owned and private conglomerates who are driven by profit motives and owe no loyalty to our developmental agenda. Madam Speaker, we wish to update the people of KwaZulu-Natal that the provincial government has already met with SAPREF, but we have also started engaging with the National Department of Mineral and Energy to work toward taking over the full operations of SAPREF as a state-owned oil company. That is in progress. While above setbacks besieged the provincial economic outlook, not all was doom and gloom on investment attraction in 2021. We're pleased to announce that through the Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, our province attracted investment to the value of 5.3 billion, with over 8,554 jobs created. Prominent among these was the Tetra Park investment of 500 million, which added jobs from 120 at that time to 300 jobs. Will help call center investment of 500 million, which initially created 500 jobs, which will grow to over 2,000 jobs in the next 2 years. The capital BPO investment of 120 million created 500 jobs. Blethdale Coastal Resort, worth 800 million, will be creating 2,000 jobs. The launch by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa of Toyota South Africa's 2.6 billion investment for the production of Toyota Corolla Cross, which is a hybrid car using electricity and fuel. And these need to be applauded. The fact that Toyota continues to invest in the provincial economy. In another significant show of confidence to our economy, in May 2021, we were excited to be part of the announcement that the Pepco Group has also joined 3 other blue chip companies in the Hammarsdale precinct. Not only is the Pepco Group investing 1.5 billion, but the company is now expanding the business in the very same precinct, which worth more than $1 billion now. In addition, the Akwele Group is investing 300 million, and also Sequence Refrigerations is also making major investment, as it was announced in last year when we visited the park. As recent as this week, our province received good news that the Investec property will be investing more than 6 billion to redevelop the old Coral Brick site north of Durban into a logistic and distribution hub to tap the growing demand for warehousing facilities in the province. The new logistic hub has the potential to create 16,000 jobs. Madam Speaker, to consolidate all these gains, the provincial government has already adopted the export strategy, which aims to facilitate access to the wider African market under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. In this regard, the provincial government, together with the African Import and Export Bank, the African Union, and the Secretariat for the African Continental Free Trade Area, hosted an intra-Africa trade fair in 2021 at the Inkosi Albert Luthuli International Convention Center on the 15th to the 21st of November last year. In total, 128 countries were represented in this Africa trade fair, and deals in excess of 400 million were concluded by the KZN-based companies. The province also presented deals at the African Deal Room to the tune of 7.8 billion, and those deals has a potential of creating 80,000 jobs. These will be examined as part of AfriCIN's funding considerations. We are pleased to announce that we will be hosting the KwaZulu-Natal International Investment Conference on the 22nd to the 23rd of March. This will be a build-up to the Presidential Investment Conference, which will be held on the 24th of March. Turning to infrastructure as a key pillar of economic growth, Madam Speaker, the provincial government continues to pursue infrastructure-led development. Transport infrastructure is a catalyst for economic growth, job creation, and development. We are pleased to confirm the upgrade of the national network by the SANRAL, which is being driven on a faster pace in the province. The route from Cato Ridge to Dandelnel is estimated at about 1.6 and is already under construction. It's creating more than 1,450 jobs. The route around Linfield Park at a contract value of 15 billion is estimated to create 1,400 jobs. Other work packages are continuing as we plan. This includes the upgrade around the KwaMashu interchange. As we committed in the last SOPA, we're pleased to announce that the 14 Zwelithini bridges are now complete. Communities can now cross safely to access important services, even when there is flooding. This year, we will continue to ensure that the intervention of the Zwelithini Bailey bridges create more jobs, and we are aiming to create additional 11,000 jobs. We welcome the pronouncement in the SONA by His Excellency the President that these bridges will be built again, and they will, as a national department, support this program. In addition to this project, through the development and the Department of Transport, we have allocated 8.7 billion for construction and maintenance of road infrastructure in the province. Of this, 4.8 billion will go to the maintenance of existing infrastructure, and 3.9 billion is allocated for construction of new projects, upgrade, and other engineering work. These include infrastructure demand and damages that were caused by recent storms. Further, details to this regard will be presented by the MEC during her budget speech. Turning to human settlement, which we do with an intention to restore the dignity of the people. The ANC-led government continues to prioritize housing for the most vulnerable to restore their dignity. In 2021, we announced the following programs to provide sustainable livelihood through transformed human settlement. These were Konopia Integrated Residential Development Project in eThekwini municipality, with 28,000 houses planned in phase 1. Already, 2,662 units have been completed, and 1,946 transfers effected to date. Construction of phase 2 will commence in June 2022. Umlazi Upgrade Regeneration Project in eThekwini, with a total of 19,160 houses have been built to date. There are 330 units in construction currently in the Umlazi Part 4 and Part 2 and the extension of Part 4. eThekwini Inner City Regeneration, with 4 social housing projects with a total yield of 958 units, were packaged and allocated to social housing institutions in 2021-2022. A further 1,362 units from 6 social housing projects will be packaged and allocated in the year 2022-2023. The overall inner city regeneration project will realize 10,580 units. Madam Speaker, since the last SOPA, 8,578 of 11,342 fully subsidized houses were built, and the remaining and the number of 6,907 of these units were built in rural areas. And this tells you that the ANC-led government delivers in townships and in urban, even in rural areas. We are in a process of completing 2,763 houses, 355 financed for individuals that will be building for themselves, 4,016 service sites, 2,540 houses were provided with title deeds. Akukho ukuthi abantu bakithi babe nezindlu okuthiwa uzohlala kuyo iminyaka engu-99 then abakulandelayo baphume. Namuhla uhulumeni ekwakhela indlu usekunika itayitela aqinisekisa ukuthi leyo ndlu ngeyakho ingunaphakade. Now, Honorable Speaker, during pre-SOPA listening campaign, we received concerns from a place called Sihle Zikalala near Matateni Township in Newcastle. We heard your cries about armed invaders who have been unlawfully taken occupancy of your RDP houses. Within a 3-month period, the Department of Human Settlement under MEC SBIA will conduct an audit, and anyone found to have occupied a house illegally will be evicted and criminally charged. To abantu base Sihle Zikalala abakhishwe endlini zabo, siyafisa ukubaqinisekisa ukuthi sizo-acta ngokushesha, siqinisekise ukuthi bayabuyiselwa izindlu zabo. Uhlelo lwezindlu lulekelela kakhulu ekuprovideni namathuba emsebenzi lishintshe nesimo somnotho. This year, we will roll out massive projects such as Empangeni IRDP housing project, Amawoti Greater Housing, eThekwini Inner City, which is continuing, and the Bridge City housing. We are hard at work to build houses for people living on farms. We will continue to prioritize military veterans through housing development, and we have already built some houses in Alfred Duma that have been already handed over. We will continue to build houses for military veterans in areas such as Ilovu, Cobbsville, Umshwati, and Bergville. Madam Speaker, this government is a government that protects the rights and dignity of all people.